You know, so much of our lives are online now. But behind all those apps and websites, there's this constant hidden battle going on. It's a fight between the people who build our digital world and those who try to tear it down. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the defenders on those digital front lines and the incredible training grounds where they learn their craft.
So who are these defenders? Well, meet the bug bounty hunter. Now, these aren't the shady hackers you see in movies. Think of them more like digital sheriffs in the Wild West. They hunt for weaknesses or bugs in software, not to do any harm, but to report them so they can be fixed. And for their trouble, they get a reward, a bounty.
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The old saying goes, you gotta think like a thief to catch one. But here's the problem. Practicing your hacking skills on a live, real-world website, that's super illegal. We're talking serious consequences. So how in the world do you get good at this stuff safely?
And that brings us to this really crucial idea, the need for a safe space. To become an ethical hacker, you need a controlled environment, a kind of digital sandbox where you can test things, probe, and even break things without causing any real damage or, ending up in legal trouble. You need a dedicated playground.
I mean, when you put them side by side, the difference is just night and day. Trying this stuff out in the wild is illegal, it's incredibly high risk, and it has very real consequences. But in a simulator, it's perfectly legal, it's completely safe, and the entire point is to be educational. For anyone trying to learn, it's really a no-brainer.
So what's the answer? Well, it's something people are calling a virtual dojo. Platforms like VulnHunt actually build web applications that are intentionally vulnerable. They are designed from the ground up to be hacked in a learning environment. It's kind of like a gym, but instead of lifting weights, you're building up your cybersecurity muscles.
Okay, so you're inside this virtual dojo. What are you actually learning? Well, it's all about mastering the secret moves. The specific techniques that attackers use to find and exploit weaknesses. Let's break down a couple of the most common ones.
First up, we've got a total classic, cross-site scripting, or XSS for short. This happens when a website gets tricked into taking some data it can't trust, say a comment on a blog, and then sends it over to another user's browser without properly checking it first.
Really, the easiest way to picture this is that you're tricking a website into running your code instead of its own. Imagine you post a comment, but hidden inside it is a nasty little script. When somebody else comes along and views that comment, their browser just runs your code. It could steal their login info, anything. You've basically turned the website into your unwilling accomplice.
All right, next on the list is SQL injection. This one's all about the database. See, almost every website you use has a database humming away in the background, storing all the important stuff like usernames and passwords. SQL is just the language you use to talk to that database.
A SQL injection is kind of like finding a secret cheat code for a vending machine. Instead of just asking for one bag of chips, you type in this special command that tricks the machine into thinking you're the manager. And what happens? It just dumps out all the snacks. That's basically how an attacker can get a website to dump its entire database of user info.
And then, of course, there's the big one, authentication bypass. This is basically the art of picking the lock on the front door. It's all about finding flaws in how a website checks to see who you are, letting you slip right past the login screen and get into accounts that are definitely not yours.
And we're not just talking about the 101 level stuff here. These training platforms go deep into professional techniques. You're learning things like how to spot predictable session tokens, those temporary keys that keep you logged in, or even how to manipulate modern stuff like JWT tokens. It's pretty advanced.
So you've got all this complex technical stuff to learn. How do you keep people from just getting overwhelmed and giving up? Simple. You turn it into a game. You create a clear path for them to follow, from a beginner's white belt all the way to a black belt expert.
The process is actually designed to be super engaging and, honestly, kind of addictive. First, you pick a challenge. Then you use your skills to exploit the vulnerability. When you succeed, you find this hidden piece of text. They call it a flag. You submit that flag to prove you did it, and boom, you get points, maybe unlock a new badge. It's a really satisfying loop.
And it's not just about the points. The whole reward system has a bunch of layers. Harder challenges are worth more. You've got leaderboards so you can compete against other people. There are achievement badges for mastering certain skills. And they even have first blood bonuses if you're the very first person to solve a brand new challenge, which is exactly like the prestige you get in real bug bounty programs.
But here's what really separates this from just being a video game.
The challenges aren't just rated easy or hard. They're scored using the exact same system the pros use, the Common Vulnerability Scoring System, or CVSS. This teaches you how to measure how severe a bug actually is in the real world, which is an absolutely critical skill for a professional.
And that gets us to the whole point of this, right? Why this dojo actually matters. It's about taking what you learn in the playground and going pro. This isn't just about points and leaderboards. It's about turning all that practice into a real-world career. See, by working through these challenges, you're not just learning hacking. You're proving you understand a huge range of technical skills. You get back-end development, database management, how user authentication works, how to code securely, even front-end stuff. These are the exact, valuable, marketable skills that companies are desperate to hire for.
And having those skills, it opens up some seriously cool career paths. You could become a penetration tester. That's someone companies hire to legally hack them to find weaknesses. Or a cybersecurity analyst, defending systems from real attacks. You could even become a secure software developer, focusing on building apps that are tough to hack right from the start.
And that right there is the real magic. So many people learn this stuff from books or lectures, but they just don't have the practical, hands-on experience to actually get a job. A platform like this, it bridges that gap. It takes all those theoretical ideas and turns them into concrete skills that employers can actually see. Which kind of leaves us with one last big thought. Our world is built on code, and it's getting more complex every single day. So are these accessible, gamified, safe training grounds, these virtual dojos, becoming our most important weapon? Are they the key to training the next generation of digital defenders? You have to wonder, maybe they're our real first line of defense.